What is going on, SHIPIT Nation, YouTube station? We're back. I got my guy Ham ready to dive in and break down this Sunday night football game out there in hot Atlanta. We're in a dome, and Patrick Mahomes in a dome is not the most expensive guy in the slate. We're going to talk about that. Pretty interesting game we got here on tap. Just a 3-point spread. Kansas City is a 3-point road favorite here in Atlanta. 46.5 is the total. But Ham, I'll bring you in, man. Happy weekend. What's going on? We got a little rivalry here. My little Packers versus your little Tennessee Titans. I mean, man, Malik Willis revenge season on docket. You guys said, fuck you, Malik Willis. We're going with Will Levis here. And, man, that's working out great for you guys so far this year. But what's going on, brother? Happy Sunday.
Yeah, man, looking forward to that game. Malik Willis, I think he'll be like the third or fourth best running back in the game. I don't know who they're going to play at quarterback. He's a heck of a running back, Malik Willis is. So, looking forward to it. Titans good enough to be 2-0. Hey, they're 0-2. But hey, Nades, the bigger story though is, and I need to get at my boy DJ. It's the Tennessee Vols put the college football nation on notice last night. Hey, we're back. Went into Norman, beat them like a drum. Hey, they may not lose another game all season. Excited about that. Got my guy, no, wrong shoulder. Got my guy Peyton back here. Looking over my shoulder as always. But looking forward to talking about this game. It's an interesting game in my opinion. But looking forward to talking about it with you.
Yeah, bravo to Tennessee there. At least one Tennessee squad is pretty solid in terms of playing the old game of catch, the old game of football here. It's definitely not the Titans, but we'll find that out. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This video is obviously recorded here. And down in the comment section, drop your favorite captains, drop your score predictions of the game. We've had a lot of views. We've had a lot of interactions on these videos. Helps us keep these videos free for everybody out there. So least you can do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. And if you are not a member yet, shipitnation.com/join now. Cheapest all-in rate in the industry. We have our in-house Shiptimizer optimizer designed to help you ship all things DFS. I mean, cheapest all-in rate in the industry. You get an optimizer and premium content, projections, ownership, everything for under $100 a month for all sports. Pretty hard to beat that price, Ham. I'm not no financial advisor, but man, I mean, you look at the rates across the industry, and it's pretty hard to argue our pricing structure in this type of business. But let's jump right into this game here tonight. And like I said, right, 46.5 games in Atlanta here in a dome, obviously good conditions. Atlanta, 3-point home dogs here with KC coming to town. Atlanta 1-1. Obviously, KC's 2-0 to start the year here. And Tambo always says it, hashtag never Mahomes. However, I don't think that's the case here tonight on the Showdown slate. We're going to talk captains. And, man, Mahomes is not the most expensive priced captain here. Pretty interesting for me. I mean, Bijan obviously has probably deserved that price point that he's at, but I still think Mahomes is about $2K too cheap here. I was looking at some previous numbers, and Mahomes is about $2,000 more or $2,000 cheaper here tonight than he's historically been on primetime slates, and I'm not really quite sure why. Atlanta obviously has a pretty porous defense here. You got primetime Kirk Cousins against this Kansas City team at home here. Primetime Kirk got the job done. Monday night when we saw him. Thursday night, one of the primetime games. Can he do it again? But man, captains wise, let's break it down. Bijan all the way up at the top at 10.6. Mahomes at 10K flat. Rashee Rice, who has taken leaps and bounds this year as the wide receiver 1, he separated himself. Xavier Worthy was kind of the breakout star in that first Thursday night game there. He kind of fell back to reality last week, getting 4.7 DraftKings points, only 5 opportunities there. Didn't really cash in on that. Travis Kelce's down to 8,200. He's been the forgotten guy in this offense this year. He's really aged quite a bit, and I think that's he's taken a couple steps back. But hey, he's been known even last year. He wasn't great every week, but when he was needed, he absolutely dusted the slate. So what do you think here from the captain spot? Because obviously you got Drake London down there too, coming off a big week. Kind of separated himself as the wide receiver 1 in this offense and actually got involved last week. Talk to me. Where are you going from the captain's position?
Yeah, I cut out there for a minute. I don't know if you saw that. And yeah, never Mahomes in main slate. I think Tambo's saying it's always Mahomes in showdown slate. And I think I don't know about always, but he's definitely playable in showdown slate. And the reason is he spreads that ball around. He's only 1,500, like you said earlier, not the most expensive. Mahomes is going to be super popular tonight. The thing I like about Mahomes, especially in captain, is he does spread the ball around, and that's why it's tough to play him in the main slate. But now you're going to get you can get four Mahomes touchdowns to four different dudes. You got in essence no running game for Mahomes either, with Pacheco on the IR. Kareem Hunt is in the player pool, but is not going to be elevated to the main squad. So definitely don't click on Kareem Hunt. But I definitely like Mahomes. I like his weapons. I like Rashee Rice in the captain. I'm with you. I'm anti Kelsey in the captain. He's just they're not targeting him this year. So yeah, no Kelsey. Probably one of my dart throw kind of captains, Nades, and interested to hear your take, would be Xavier Worthy. This guy on turf, speed to burn. I think they'll get him a few more carries than normal, maybe 4 to 5 carries as opposed to 1 or 2, and he can take those to the house like we saw in the Ravens game. I like Xavier Worthy in the captain, obviously in the flex as well. And then on the flip side, it's a unique game for me. There's no way that the Falcons can beat the Chiefs. They're no good. Kirk Cousins is no good. Blah, 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 blah. But I think they're going to be competitive in this game. Obviously, just coming off the road win Monday night in Philly. I don't mind some of these Falcons captains. I think Bijan is going to be not as highly owned as a couple of these Chiefs. I don't think Kirk Cousins in the captain. Interested to hear your take on that. But maybe Drake London, and everybody's given up on your boy Kyle Pitts. Hey, 10-5. I don't think it's the worst. We saw what Isaiah likely did in week 1. So interested to hear your take on all those guys.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I tend to agree a lot with you. I like your Xavier Worthy point. I don't know if I get to him in the captain, but I do think he's a viable captain. I'd much rather play Xavier Worthy in the captain spot, I think, than Travis Kelce. However, I do think Travis Kelce is a pretty solid play here in the captain because, like I said, right, it's week 3 here. They're down Pacheco now. This feels like a spot where Travis Kelce could be relied on heavily here over the middle of that field there. But I still just don't love his upside at his age. I mean, he's always got it, I think, with Mahomes at the helm and in that offense. I just don't love it. The tight end that I love, and you alluded to it, probably one of my favorite captain plays on this entire slate is Kyle Pitts, and let me explain why here. Looking at the numbers, right? This linebacker room for the Kansas City Chiefs is just absolutely got murdered in 2 weeks this year. The team overall is allowing the 7th most points to tight ends here. Likely went in week 1, 9, 1, 11 in 1. Obviously, we saw that on that Thursday night game. He was the optimal captain. And then last week, Mike Gesicki went 7 for 91 and didn't catch a touchdown. He almost broke the 100-yard bonus in that game there. I mean, Pitts has been fed on 67% of his targets within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's compared to 40%. So almost 150% more targets with the new OC there in Atlanta. I like Kyle Pitts a ton here at his price point. $7K in the flex, obviously in the captain's position there. He's kind of right at that 10-5 to 11-1 price point, that sweet spot that I love. So Kyle Pitts is my overall favorite captain. I also love the underdog builds here, which obviously Atlanta's an underdog here. I think they keep this game competitive at home, and I really like the 4-2 underdog builds here. I think everybody's going to go to Chiefs heavy for a good reason, right? Everybody loves Chiefs. We've played Chiefs, it feels like 6 times a year on primetime slates for a good reason. Obviously, back-to-back Super Bowl champs there, and obviously NFL wants to get one of the best teams in the NFL on primetime to get more eyes on them. I just feel like everybody flocks to these Chiefs heavy in these one-game samples. I really like Kyle Pitts a ton. I like Drake London a ton. And the interesting part that I like too is Kirk Cousins kind of got the monkey off his back a little bit, right? Primetime Kirk went into Philly and drove down the field in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, threw it to old Drake London and beat those damn Eagles right there in Philly. So it's not the old historic primetime Kirk that has been terrible. Actually, over the last 2 years, I think his numbers are significantly better in primetime than historic. But there's always that overarching thought that everybody has that, hey, Kirk Cousins sucks in prime time. It's just not the case. We just saw that on Monday night in Philly here. So I'm going to be heavier, I think, on these Atlanta pass catchers in the captain. I like Drake London. I like Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney. Don't sleep on Darnell Mooney here. He's still heavily involved in this offense here. He's got a team high 16-yard depth of target, which is 13th in the league, is his average ADOT down the field. So he's obviously your home run, big play guy overall. So I don't mind him. I think he's kind of a stretch in the captain spot, but I do like him quite a bit in the flex. So I'm on these pass catchers for the Atlanta side, especially Pitts, especially Mooney, or not Mooney, especially London in the captain position. Bijan is fine, I think, but I do think at that, I would much rather just play him Mahomes. So for me, my three captains are probably going to be Mahomes, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London are kind of my three favorite. And then, I mean, sprinkles of Worthy, Rice, and Kelsey, I think is kind of how I'm looking at it. But go ahead and rank your captains here.
Yeah, I would say Mahomes is my number one for me. I would say Rice 2. I'm going to go Worthy 3, and then I'll put a couple of Falcons. I'll go Bijan 4, and then Pitts. Yeah, I was thinking between Pitts and London. I like even one thing too about Pitts, Nades, is those big. I mean, Gesicki had the game of his season game, but he also got targeted a couple times and dropped, I think, a touchdown pass or another like 20-yard pass. On top of the fact that the two other tight ends had like 4 for 40. So tight ends as a whole for the Bengals were like 10 catches for $140 or 50. And the reason that is like you said, linebacker room is bad. Corners are really, really good for the Chiefs. So the middle of the field, like you always talk about with Kyle Pitts, maybe with a Ray McLeod is going to be open tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Ray McLeod in the flex because I think he was on for 100% of Kirk's dropbacks as well. So he's still, I mean, everybody wanted to say, oh my God, Ray is terrible chalk on Monday, right, in Philly. And man, he's just heavily involved in this offense. I mean, he's the wide receiver 3 there behind Mooney. Mooney's your burner guy. Ray's that slot guy. Him and Pitts are those two guys across the middle of the field there. So Ray's not going away. We'll talk about him in the flex, but yeah, excellent breakdown. Let's jump into the flex here, and let's kind of start there in that Ray with that Ray McLeod because he's just 3.6 again. He's right there in between the Chiefs and the Falcons defense at 36. Falcons are down to 34. Chiefs are at 44. So I mean, after the Chiefs defense, you drop down $800 down to Ray. You got Young Ray Koo, Harrison Buckner. So let's go ahead and touch on the kickers and kind of that 3K to 5K range there where Ray sits, and then obviously the defenses and the kickers because Thursday night we saw the first defense kind of get there. Obviously that was a completely different game, but kickers have been kind of the focal point of the showdown slates so far this year, outside of obviously that ugly Thursday night game where we finally got our first chalk defense that hit the optimal here. But what do you think here in this game?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with those Falcons guys is they literally only play 3 wide receivers. I mean, Ray, Mooney, and London, all in essence 100% of the snaps. I think Drake was off for a play or two. And then so they're all viable, right? Especially Ray. I think in the first half, and I'm not looking at it, but I think he had like 3 or 4 catches for like 40 yards in the first half on Monday night. Then for whatever reason, they stopped going to him. They stopped really going to the ground game. But I think he's a great play. I think Mooney, obviously a little bit higher at $6,200, I think is in play. I don't think I'll get to Tyler Algier. He's a good back, but they just don't use him. He's kind of like that Braylon Allen guy for the Jets. I mean, he's a good back, but he's just not going to get the touches and the carries, I think, in this matchup. But both kickers are great plays. They're very expensive, $5,000, $4,800. But the thing with Butker and Koo, and we've seen it all season, I mean, they can hit 50-yarders like it's a 30-yarder, and those points obviously stack up really quickly. The thing that I'm most interested in is who's going to be that bell cow back for the Chiefs, and is there going to be a bell cow back? The only two names that I'm really seeing would be Carson Steele at 6,400 or Piron at 5,400. I'm interested to hear your take. I think I'm leaning more Piron. I just think when the chips are down that they would trust the wily vet. Steele did fumble last week. I mean, they put him back in the game, so they obviously have confidence in him. But if the Chiefs are down, and I think that's in play, I think they're going to just do some dump offs to Piron. Very good at that. Probably a little bit better in pass protection, picking up blitzes. Been in the league for quite a bit. But interested to hear your take on that. Defenses, I don't know. The Chiefs, I mean, I'll actually like both defenses. I don't know if I'll get there. I will if I need to get down that salary, but just looking at teams, and I've built a couple teams this morning. You don't need to go to defenses, but I wouldn't hate the Chiefs, McLeod, Koo, Falcons type, builds if you needed to.
Yeah, I will say Carson Steele is going to be the running back one. P. Ryan's just not going to be an ever down back. We've seen P. Ryan. He's going to play probably that McKinnon role. I think that's why they went out and signed him. I think they got him from Cincinnati. He came over. He's going to be that McKinnon guy. The more the passing downs, he's solidified his role in the NFL as kind of that running back. So he's not going to be your ever down back. Carson Steele, for what it's worth, regardless of what you think, I mean, he's 6,400 in a Mahomes-led offense as running back one. So I don't think his ceiling is there, but I think he's a solid floor type cashier, safe, if you will, flex play, just because, I mean, he's in Mahomes' offense as a running back, and you can never be worried about that too much. And then Keontae Ingram is likely going to be active as well. Chiefs went out and signed him to their practice squad on Wednesday. This guy was a pretty solid running back in college. Didn't really work out there in Arizona with James Conner and Midget Murray and that offense out there where he got drafted. So Chiefs signed him to the practice squad. I expect him to be active. He's just 2K. I think that's a little cute, but hey, in 150 max, I think he's the running back two behind Carson Steele on running plays. And then obviously Piron is going to be more of that passing down guy. You could see him get a couple carries, but I still think Ingram's going to be the running back two behind Carson Steele for those designed run plays. So didn't want to hit on that because you brought up a good point. But yeah, I mean, you alluded to it. The value is pretty trash on this slate. I mean, outside of one guy, a dart throw value, probably my favorite guy below 3K would be Noah Gray. The reason I say that is he's running routes on 41% of dropbacks. He's got 3 total targets through two games, and he's not going to have any ownership. Doesn't take him much, right, to pay off that 3K price point. With the no Pacheco in there, you could see more 2 tight end sets to help block or something for Mahomes as well. And hey, he leaks out, especially inside the red zone. They're known to give Noah Gray. We've seen what Noah Gray. They just signed him last year to an extension, I believe, as well. And paid this guy behind Kelsey. He's going to be the guy after Kelsey kind of moves on, I expect here. So they have aspirations for this guy. He's running routes at least on his drop backs. So, I mean, I don't hate a Noah Gray play. Outside of that, I mean, value, I'm not going to get to any of the Juju Smiths. I'm not going to go down here to the Sky Moores, which, hey, maybe that's a talking point, Ham. Sky Moore, gadget guy here, no Pacheco. Obviously, they got Xavier Worthy, but Sky Moore has been another gadget guy as well. I think I don't think he's been activated earlier this year, but
he's their kickoff.
Okay, yeah, just kick off. I mean, you could see him as a gadget guy, right? And with no Pacheco in there, I think it's a little thin, but just trying to make any of these points down here for the value guys because, right, anytime you have a Chiefs Mahomes slate, right? You're spending a lot of salary at the top end, especially with Rice up there around 10K. You need some value in some of those Mahomes type captain builds, I think. But what's your takes on any of these guys? Noah Gray, Ingrams, Sky Moores of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a little bit about Moore and/or Hardman. We know Hardman is. They obviously caught the winning touchdown pass. I just haven't seen it in the first 2 games. I mean, those 2 games have been primetime games, and Andy Reid could certainly change it, but they're behind. The top 2. They seem to be behind Justin Watson. They seem to be behind Juju. Then you have Gray. and you have Kelsey. I do like Gray the best of that bunch, 2,600. So I would have, a little bit of interest in Gray and Watson in Mahomes' captain teams. Smith-Schuster just hasn't done enough. I don't think he is viable. And then no Hardman, no Moore for me. Yeah, so I think Gray and Watson are fine. They're playing enough, and Watson's always a touchdown threat. Not the home run guy that some of these other guys are, but he's playing close to half the snaps. So I don't mind him down there.
Yeah, Justin Watson's probably my favorite, just because, between him and Sky Moore are kind of the wide receiver, him and Juju, are kind of the wide receiver threes. Obviously, Sky Moore works in there a little bit. Sky Moore just has one target, 0 catches on 26 snaps, I believe is what I'm seeing here. Justin Watson has 3 targets. 2 of those are 10-plus yards down the field. So, again, that home run hitter, right, kind of that burner that we've seen. So, Xavier Worthy is obviously their guy that they want for that burner with his blazing speed. But Justin Watson's also been known on these primetime slates to break some slates there. Doesn't take him much at 2,800 there. Obviously, he's got much more upside, in my opinion, than Noah Gray. But Noah Gray is kind of got a better floor, in my opinion, as well. So that hits on those 2 guys. I have really zero interest in Juju. I just think this guy is just above his stay here in the NFL. This guy's a revolving door here. He can't even get the job done on a Patrick Mahomes-led offense with Andy Reid. So, yeah, I think we hit on the value enough in the kickers and the defenses. Let's talk about what are you going to do with, like I said, what are you going to do with a Carson Steele? Because he's right there in that price point of Kyle Pitts. I absolutely love Kyle Pitts. He's probably my overall favorite play on this Falcons team. I just think, he gets all the work in the slot. He gets a ton of work in the slot. He should be able to absolutely torch these Chiefs linebackers. I think he's better than Likely. I think he's much better than Gesicki. This might be finally the Kyle Pitts breakout game that everybody's been waiting for, where he could get, I could see 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns here. I'm going to be honest, from a guy like Kyle Pitts. I absolutely love him there. But let's talk about that range, because that's pretty loaded range, right? You got Carson Steele, running back 1 on Kansas City at 6,400, Kyle Pitts at 7K. Then you bump up to Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce and Drake London right there above those guys before you get up to Kirk Cousins. So I think those 4 and 5 guys right there are an interesting talking point in the flex, because you can't play them all. But what's your kind of interest in those guys there?
Yeah, I would say, about Pitts, like, we're waiting for that breakout game, and he had a touchdown week 1. They didn't really utilize him. He's still tight end, I think 7 or 8 on the season. Tight end as a whole has just been abysmal. I don't know if we've had a blow up game yet in 2 weeks, but I like Pitts a lot. I'm with you there. That's the way to beat the Chiefs, right? And I think sometimes these coaches, they overthink themselves, and you can't really run it on them. You can't really throw outside on them. So let's get the middle of the field. I'm with you there. Love Pitts. I love those slot guys. I think Ray Ray's a great play at 3,600. I really like those 2 guys for the Falcons in the flex.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Ray Ray. I love Pitts. I love the slot guys. I'm not really higher on Drake London. I think Drake London picks up more ownership as we saw, right? That was the last play everybody realized, right? And everybody remembers from Monday night, Drake London, Kirk Cousins driving down the field, scoring that touchdown. I'm under on him at his $8,800 price point. I'd rather just find the salary, get up to Rashee Rice, who is going to get all the target share in the world. He's got Mahomes throwing him the football. Or I'd much rather just pay $200 and get Kirk Cousins at 9K. $9,000 for a quarterback in a dome in a 3-point spread. I think Kirk Cousins is an excellent play on this slate. They're going to be likely passing the ball. They already like to pass the ball. Bijan is heavily involved in the passing game as well. But, I think 2 quarterback builds are pretty good here tonight. And in that case, I would fade a guy like Bijan all the way up at the top and just play Kirk Cousins. Hope it's Kirk Cousins, a Pitts, Ray, kind of a 3-3 type build. I think that's a pretty interesting route. Grab Mahomes, grab Cousins, grab Pitts, grab Ray, or like a kicker. And then grab like Rashee Rice or Carson Steele or something like that. Kind of filled it out. I like those type builds here tonight. But any thoughts on that? At Kirk Cousins, just 9K.
Are you talking? So you're talking 9K. So you're talking Kirk and captain or flex only. No captain Kirk.
Yeah, I'm not playing. I'm not playing any Captain Kirk. I know. Yeah, I mean, limited rushing upside. We just saw Aaron Rodgers. Shout out to Tambo being on Aaron Rodgers on that Thursday night game there in the captain spot. I just don't think Kirk spreads it around enough. I mean, you look at the reason Tambo went to Aaron Rodgers is there was like 8 guys on the Jets with targets in receptions. That's just not the case in Atlanta. It's Bijan, it's Pitts, it's Ray, and it's London. I mean, there's 4 guys. It's just not spread out enough, I don't think, for a Kirk Cousins to outscore all of these guys and a Mahomes or a Rice in the captain spot for me. So I love Cousins in the flex, no Cousins in the captain spot, but at 9K, I mean, that price point is I mean, too cheap, I think, in 3-point spread here where they're 3-point dogs expected to throw the ball more as well. That any closing takes for the flex here, but I think we broke it down pretty good. I mean, you didn't really touch on Carson Steele too much. Seems like you don't really like him a lot, but I mean, he has a big body. I think he's 6'2", like 240 pounds, 235 pounds. So, I mean, he's a big boy. He's going to be the running back one in that offense, and he's sub 7K. So I don't know what your thoughts are on him. You didn't really hit on him too much.
Yeah, I don't think I'll have much Carson Steele, and the reason being is when the Chiefs get around, the red zone, closer, they like to get cute, and they really don't turn around and just hand it off to the running back. I think it's going to be tough for him to score. I don't think he'll catch many passes. I think if it is a passing down, like you said, they will bring in the third down back. And hey, time flies, Nade's Piron, lifelong Bengal. Hey, he was in Denver last year of all places. You didn't know that because he probably never played, and that was one of the worst teams in the NFL. Yeah. So yeah, no Carson Steele, really no Piron. I mean, the only way I would have Piron is if you were building, we always talk about, game script. If the Falcons get up and they're down, the Chiefs are down 14-21, the third and fourth quarter, then yeah, I would say put Piron in as the pass catching back. Did it many times in Cincinnati, relieving Joe Mixon, Burrow, just dump it off. Hey, and the Chiefs are known to do that as well. So if I had Piron, I would build it that way. But yeah, no Carson Steele for me tonight.
Yeah, I think that you make a good point. We always you want to build for a game script, right? It's based on how you think the game's going to go. If you're playing an Atlanta wins script, like a 4-2 Atlanta type build, obviously a 4-2 Atlanta build can still get there as underdogs or like losing the game. But if you're building to say, hey, Atlanta's winning or like staying in this game and it's competitive, I would much rather play a Piron than a Carson Steele because you alluded to it. He's going to be the passing down guy. I expect, and I mean, he's the veteran. They signed him for a reason. Mahomes is easy to throw it and check it down to a Piron. He can make some guys miss in space, and he's just 5,400. So yeah, I don't hate that take, but overall, I think we broke it down pretty good. My kind of play of the day, I guess, is going to be Kyle Pitts. He's not going to be super low owned, but I expect him to be pretty low owned, especially in the captain spot. I think my flag plant of the slate here is Kyle Pitts. I absolutely love the slot. I love tight ends against these linebackers of these Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen 2 guys. It's only a small sample size of 2 weeks, but back to back, just get absolutely torched by tight ends through the middle of the field. So I think this is the Kyle Pitts breakout game for sure.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. My 2 hot takes is going to be, I think Xavier Worthy is on the optimal. And I don't think any Chiefs back is on the optimal. I don't like Carson Steele. Don't like Piron. I think Mahomes is going to air it out. So, yeah, give me some Worthy and then give me no Chiefs running backs.
No Chiefs running backs. Worthy, Mahomes. Let's get some fireworks here on Sunday night to end off the weekend going into Monday Night Football. But appreciate everybody watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll have our stone updated, our core reports, our slate plans, everything will be up on the website. Hopefully your main slate went good today, but we'll catch you guys tomorrow. For Hamwich, I'm Nades. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
you.